everybody gets a phone call every once in a while, and it's from a debt collector. That's another story. Katrina Phyllis is going to fill us in on that right here. If you're watching on the cable, right here on the LMS Show, and take it down. Welcome back to the LMS Show. Give yourself a big hand. When you come home in the nighttime, sometimes from a hard day of work, and you got an ass machine. Okay. And what do you get on the other end of the machine? Not when your friends say, "Come on, let's go out to dinner tonight." Somebody's calling you. They got a very important business matter to discuss with you, and you already know who that is. It's the debt collector. Young lady will show you the 1978 Act, how you can protect yourself from debt collectors. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Katrina Phillips. Give her a big hand, everybody. Katrina, you advise and consult people about the Debt Collection Act of '78. Could you explain that to us?
Yes. The debt collection practices are governed by the 1978 Act, which is the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, which applies to all states in the union. Okay, it's a universal law. Okay, in the Act it explains what the debt collector can and cannot do.
What you can do.
Okay. Like for example, a debt collector can contact you by phone between certain hours, which are between the hours of 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Okay, a debt collector cannot speak to third parties, consisting of they can't call your home and speak to your child about the debt collection matter. They can't speak to a relative about the debt collection matter. For example, a debt collector can speak to like a creditor, the original creditor of the debt that it is alleged that you owe, or a debt collector can also speak to, in some states, a debt collector can speak to like your spouse, or if the debtor is a minor, the debt collector can, by the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, speak to the parents of the debtor.
That's a minor has a credit card, right?
Well, actually, you know how sometimes, like for example, in some states, a minor can be sued. So, for example, so it depends. See, the thing here is, the laws are different in each state.
Right.
So it gets kind of confusing, but you have those laws that apply to all states.
You know, the strange thing is that you told me that in New York City, I was surprised that they had the strongest debt collection law out. I mean, they can't sit back and set up shop. They can't set up shops here in sisters and tell people that they owe money. They had to have they had to register the consumer affairs in New York, right?
Right. Yes. Debt collection agencies have to be licensed
In New York City.
In New York City, and they're licensed by the Department of Consumer Affairs. So
if you have any complaint against them, what they're doing, you can contact the Consumer Affairs, right?
You can actually contact Consumer Affairs. There's different outlets you can contact. Like for example, your Attorney General's office. That's in each state. You could contact like your Attorney General's office and file a complaint with the Attorney General.
Also, too, usually, like say you owe this place money, and it's 30 days. They don't get anything. They don't get anything for 30 days. They can turn it over to a collection company, right?
Right. There is not a certain amount of time that you have that an original creditor has, and they have to they allow, for example, there's an IRS code that applies to certain entities, like for example banks. They have a certain amount of time to clear the books when it comes to how long they hold on to a debt. And what happens at that point is a third party comes in and purchases the debt.
See, that's where people make big business, and other people be making money at. because they sit back and use your name, you know, they sit back and see who we gonna catch. Maybe the other one didn't catch it, maybe I can catch it, right?
Right. It's almost basically like a cycle debt. You know, whoever can collect on the debt, then you got it, you're the winner.
But also, too, they have a way to do it, too, you know, we'll bring back another day, but they have another way to do things, too, is that they say, okay, there's $500 debt, boom, pay $250. And you say, oh, God, oh, gee, I just paid $250. And you pay $250. Little you know that they sit back here and take that other half of the debt, and send it to the IRS and tell them you made money.
Damn.
Is that true?
Yes.
Because that happened to a coworker of mine one time. She got a bargain, and she got a bargain. She got a letter from Uncle Sam, and they consider that, you know, well, they said for income. You got to put it on your taxes, right?
Yes.
Gangsters, man.
But they can't harass you and sit back here and sometimes they have some debt collector sit back here and call your boss on the telephone and say that you're a deadbeat, or call one of your relatives and say you're a deadbeat. How could you associate? You know, they try to work them down.
Right, there's a lot of tactics that collectors use, and so this goes on and on.
What if you do it? What happens when you die?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. So what happens when you die? That's what goes on.
Actually, I mean, well, if there's let's just say there's an executor of the will, then, you know, an estate, right, and then they can go after the estate. And even sometimes when you have a deceased individual, you still have debt collectors that still try to, you know, go after them until they learn that, you know, the person is
You know, they had the incident. You know, they had the incident where they had this college kid. You know, this is another thing though too. They be selling these kids with credit cards on the campus, college campuses. Tell them go, you know, buy and use. And they had this child that said I can use a card, and he got himself in debt, and he got himself so debt so bad that he had to drop out of school, and he tried to pay off the debt. He tried to pay. He tried, and it came to a point is that he killed himself. He committed suicide.
Yeah, you hear a lot of stories.
He committed suicide. And then one day the debt collector called him, called the mother and the other folks, said, well, we here to collect Johnny, you know, Johnny who was on debt. Said, well, he's deceased now. And one of them said, and this is the coldest thing I heard my whole life. You gotta read, but the coldest thing I heard my whole life. Well, he would have really been proud of you if you paid the debt for him.
Wow.
They go to any measure to try and collect on the debt.
And even sometimes, you know, like we had to be savvy and then with these credit cards too, right?
Yes.
You know, you don't need a whole gang of credit cards. You know, but come around to that holiday, that's the happiest time of the year. I'll be glad when that comes and it goes. Because they're doing it now. They waking up at after Santa Claus go down Santa Claus Lane. Next thing you know, at 6 o'clock, he's punching in the clock to play Santa Claus because the stores are open on Thanksgiving. But we gotta be there because sometimes the department store credit cards are more expensive too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta just be mindful of anything that you sign. A lot of times people are not reading what they're signing, they're just signing away. And that's a problem.
You gotta be that fine print, right?
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
You enjoy doing these workshops, huh?
I do. I actually started off just doing it as a hobby for friends and family, and then I decided to take it, you know, a step further.
Now this young lady, Katrina Phillips, she's very knowledgeable. You can't take that. I can't take that away from her. She keeps up what's going on, and also too, you know, she's still. Personally, you gotta stand up for your rights too.
Yes, definitely, most definitely. Because a lot of times these people, they're not educated up on what their rights are. It's important to read the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act as it applies to third-party debt collectors. You know, read up on the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. You know, different laws. It's like, to me, it's interesting. I'm very passionate about it, and I love to read. So, so you know,
You read a book like they have in the store, like in the store they have books, right?
I like
Not
to-
enough off of internet on one of these little companies that sit back here. Because see with those you can't underline nothing. You can't underline it, you know, they're gonna charge you for it. But I like to have to touch a book. I'm not plugging the books. Well, I'm plugging books in a way because I think one should know one should read what's keeping on what's going on and find what other people's opinions are too.
And provide out other people's experiences. And anything that applies to your rights, you have to know what your rights are and how to apply them to your individual situation. It's very important.
But you just mentioned that the fine print. You like sometimes you people say, well, you know, like sometimes they back and say like, well, why don't you sign up for a credit card? You know when they sign up for a credit card, I remember once I signed up for a credit card. Well, the girl was kind of attractive. And I said, well, you know, you sign right here. And I said, well, what you getting out of the deal? Well, you know, I could get a little point. I said, all right, well, I don't need all that many cards. I'm gonna spend no money on. You know, I got enough stuff in my house. I don't need to overload. But one got to know how. One got to say no to these cards. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
Basically, how many credit cards a person should walk around with, basically?
Well, for me personally, I don't have any credit cards. I just have a debit card. That's it. So I really don't like to give advice on that because
Let's think of everybody got their little taste.
like I can't go up to the person and say, "Well, I don't have any credit cards." They'll look at you don't have credit cards, but like look at me like I'm crazy.
But they look at you, the society. They sit back and tell you if you don't have you don't have any credit cards. Or people, what's wrong with you? Ain't nothing wrong paying cash, right?
Nothing. My thing is, listen, I'd rather pay cash for it, really.
Because
the only time I use my card is to go to the ATM, really. I don't go to different stores swiping. I don't do that. And I'm very...
You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful with the same. Because you have one of them stores, I ain't mention no names on the got Goofy. They got caught up. I think around last year this time they got caught up in a big thing with these credit cards. You know, because people sit back and be hacking away and get into your credit cards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Only time I use them, I think most of the things if you use them, make sure you pay them back as fast as you can. You agree?
That's true. Stay on top of it. You know, if you're charging stuff and you don't know how you're gonna pay for it, then I do suggest not charging it up if you're not gonna be able to pay it back. It's not worth it being in debt for what.
What they call it, artificial wealth.
Yeah.
Because you feel you got all these cars and you're the king and the queen of the hill and all that kind of stuff. Mr. Thing and Miss Thing. Plastic. Yeah. Plastic. People gonna be ringing your telephone because you can't afford to pay for it. Miss Thing and Mr. Thing. Broke. I find that you have more in your pocket. You pay cash, you have more in your pocket. And also too, we leave this about if I want something, I save up my money for it. I sit back here. If you really want something, you really want it that bad, I sit back here and save $1 a night. Go home, all that loose change I have, I'll put $1 on it side one night. And sometimes people say, that's $1. But that doggone dollar adds up. If you put in your piggy bank, you go to one of these banks that charge it 8% when in the bank, and you sit back and see all the money you accumulate, you can save up a lot of money, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, you can.
Then you can buy what you want to buy because it's yours.
Right. You don't have to worry about the phone calls or the letters.
No, because I one of the fancy stores, won't mention the name on the air, sit back and said, why don't you get one of these cards? I said, no. I said, look, if I sit back here and buy something for a young lady, that ain't the credit card company's outfit. That's mine, because I pay for it.